The Wrong Turn. It's a classic start to any horror story, isn't it? But for Emma and her friends, it wasn't a story. It was the beginning of a nightmare they would never wake up from. They were supposed to be having a quiet weekend by a lake, a much-needed escape from the city. But then the GPS died. A narrow, forgotten dirt road beckoned, winding through a forest of skeletal trees that clawed at the sky. The fog was thick, a suffocating white shroud, and then, through the haze, they saw it. A lonely, weather-beaten cottage. Its wooden walls were rotted and grey, the windows filmed over with decades of dust. But there was a light inside, a single weak flicker, even though no power lines ran for miles. "Let's just ask for directions," Emma said, her voice sounding smaller than she wanted. Curiosity, that fatal human trait, dragged them out of the car. They knocked. The door groaned open on its own, releasing a gust of stale, heavy air. It smelled of burnt wood and something else, something metallic and coppery, like old blood. They called out, but only silence answered. Stepping inside, their flashlight beams danced across torn curtains and shattered furniture. On the wall hung a family portrait. A man, a woman, a little girl. But their faces had been violently scratched out. Suddenly, a whisper, colder than the grave, brushed against Emma's ear. "Don't stay here after dark." She spun around. Nothing. Her friends had frozen, their eyes wide with a primal fear that was now starting to dawn on her too. The temperature plummeted, their breath turning to mist. They scrambled back outside, only to find the road they came from was gone, vanished. There was only the cottage, its front door now slammed shut. Night fell like a black velvet curtain, trapping them. Inside the cursed cottage, they huddled together, the world outside swallowed by an impenetrable fog. Their phones were useless bricks. A few candles cast a pathetic, flickering glow, doing little to push back the oppressive darkness. That's when the strange things began. Footsteps creaked and echoed from the floor above, even though the staircase had collapsed into a pile of splintered wood years ago. The family portrait on the wall seemed alive. One moment, the faces were violently scratched out. The next, they reappeared, their eyes hollow and lifeless, staring directly at them. Emma's hand trembled as she pulled an old, damp diary from a drawer. The ink was bled and faded, but she could make out chilling fragments. The whispers won't stop. They say she wants her doll back. We buried it, but she keeps looking for it. I can hear her crying at night. A loud thump from the ceiling made them all jump. The candle flames danced wildly, almost extinguishing. And then a sound that would chill them to the bone. The faint, innocent giggle of a child echoing from down the hallway. Tom, trying to be brave for the group, cautiously went to investigate. He pushed open a door at the far end of the hall, and there it was. Sitting on a small wooden chair was a doll, its glass eyes gleaming in the candlelight. It looked pristine, almost new, as if it had just been placed there. As Tom reached out and his fingers brushed against the doll, the air turned instantly frigid. Every single candle snuffed out at once, plunging them into near total darkness. The only light came from the dying embers in the fireplace, which cast long, distorted shadows that writhed and danced like living things. The whispering started again, but this time it was louder, coming from all around them, from inside the walls, from the ceiling, from beneath their very feet. Emma screamed. On the grimy windows, small, childlike handprints were appearing, pressing against the glass from the outside. The cacophony of whispers merged into a single, terrifying voice, a chorus of the dead, pleading and demanding, "Give her back, give her back." In a panic, Tom dropped the doll. It hit the floor and cracked open. Tucked inside was a brittle lock of brown hair. The voice instantly twisted from a desperate plea into a shriek of pure, unadulterated fury. Doors slammed shut with impossible force. The floorboards buckled and split. A howling, ice-cold wind tore through the cottage, though every window was sealed. He scrambled for the front door, clawing at it, but it was locked tight, as if barred from the outside. The very walls seemed to breathe, the peeling wallpaper curling away to reveal hundreds of names carved into the wood beneath. And there, freshly etched into the grain, Emma saw her own name. In a final, desperate act, she grabbed the broken doll and the lock of hair and threw them into the fireplace. The embers roared to life, the flames soaring high. For one terrifying second, the ghostly image of a little girl appeared in the fire. Her pale face twisted in an expression of profound sadness before she dissolved into smoke. And then, silence. The wind died. The house fell still. The front door creaked open. They stumbled out into the cold night. The fog was lifting, and as they looked back, the cottage seemed to shrink to fade, like a watercolor painting left out in the rain. By the time the sun rose and they found their way back to a main road, it was gone. Completely. Weeks passed. The trauma lingered. Emma, unable to let it go, convinced the police to go back with her. But there was nothing. No cottage, no dirt road, just an empty field and the lonely sound of the wind. But the story doesn't end there. That night, back in her own bed, safe in the city, Emma heard it. A faint, familiar whisper right outside her window. "You shouldn't have burned my doll." The next morning, her friends tried to call and call and call. No answer. Her phone was later found on her bed, its screen cracked, and pressed into the dusty surface of the glass were tiny, perfect fingerprints, the size of a child's. Thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed this story, don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe for more chilling tales. Stay safe and check your windows.